What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Jaff Man. I'm your host, Jaff. Now, it's been a little while since I've been on camera, but nevertheless, I've got a great initial impressions of this guy, the new Apple Magic keyboard with a trackpad. Now, there's been a ton of reviews already on the internet. There's been a ton of people talking about it. They probably got it for free. I never got this for free, but nevertheless, from somebody who's not an Apple fan, who's borrowed this for a few days, let me share my perspective. So at this point, it's a standard unboxing from me. The cellophane is already missing, nothing really to it. Take the box out, which is basically minimal packaging, doesn't really waste much. Standard Apple, I guess. Not really any stickers inside, bit disappointing, standard jargon. And this is the case itself. And very, very solid spring mechanism there. There's the trackpad, nice and clicky. And the keyboard, bit disappointing. More on that later. Now, before anyone mentions anything, I do have a on-break of psoriasis on my hands at the moment, which is why there's weird little spots everywhere. Forgive me. Mother Nature and God wasn't very kind to my hands this winter, but it is clearing up. Now, this is last year's iPad Pro. It's basically the same thing with slightly less RAM and a different camera setup. It clicks into place very nicely. I was just being extra cautious for some silly reason. Now, once it's in, it's pretty sturdy. It's not going unless you want it to come off. And there you get to see the full range of motion. It is very easy to operate, a very firm hinge mechanism that inspires confidence. Just make sure you don't go beyond the angle of no return where you may break it. It does look like a very, very nice and tidy setup, and the keyboard itself is very smart. Now, you can see here, if the device is flat on a table and you pick it up in this manner, you don't have to use two hands just to split it apart. You're able to raise it to the first locking position very easily. But once you get there, you're going to have to hold one side and push the other side to your desired angle. Now, this does make it, I guess it's a bit of a perk, a bit of a pro thing. Whatever it is, this hinge design is very, very, very well engineered, and it does inspire some very high levels of confidence with its very high levels of robustness. Word count high, need to read a thesaurus for different words. But the package here, it is a very, very nice, appealing product. It does add some weight, but that's expected. It's a very solidly built product. In terms of protection, unless you're dropping it flat on the front or the back, nothing's going to be protected. All the sides will be exposed to the nasty concrete damage, bends and dents that you will get if you drop this. Another observation, there's no secure method to put the pen. Like, once you attach the pen and then you chuck it in your bag, it's probably going to get dislodged because it will hit something and grab something. It would have been nice if there was like a little flap or something, just something little, just to make it a bit more secure. Here's one of my gripes. You can charge it from the left side slower, or you can charge it from the right side from the iPad itself a lot faster. The left side on the case doesn't provide any data transfer, just a passive charging method. And another thing I noticed, here's a Logitech keyboard case thing. It has a home button. And I really like having the home button because it's a physical button and it's kind of like an escape key. Whereas on the iPad, you don't have this. Not on the iPad, on the iPad Apple case rather, you don't have this. And instead, you have to rely on gestures. You've got to do like a 2-finger or a 3-finger swipe to basically press home or access your taskbar. But it's still a great product overall. The keyboard's decent. The keys are enough, plentiful, and it still gets a thumbs up from me. Now, I love keyboards, mechanical ones, big ones, little ones, customizable ones, custom boards and all sorts. This keyboard just doesn't do it for me. It hasn't got the travel, nor does it have those satisfying clicks. Even this old Logitech keyboard has somewhat of a better feeling chiclet style keyboard that resembles a real keyboard to me. These butterfly switches, although yeah, they're really slim and space saving and amazing to some people and better than Apple's previous laptops in the last few years, for me, it just doesn't do it for me. People want to use this as more of an all-in-one device. Now, I understand the need and the niche and the sort of desires for people to do that, but it can't be a laptop unless it is a laptop. I mean, something like this is now pushing the sizes like an 11-inch MacBook Pro, and you get a lot more device for very similar money as an iPad Pro and this keyboard combined. It's apparently the future, but just make laptops and ultrabooks better. This to me is not the future, because by the time you buy a fancy iPad for £900 to £1,200 and then you add on a £300 keyboard, you're £1,500 in. You could probably make a very powerful gaming rig with that sort of money. Probably buy a 2080, a 3700X, motherboard, RAM, hard drive, case, power supply, and you'll be roughly £1,500 in. But then you don't have the convenience of carrying this. For £1,500, you can get this, the Razer Blade 15-inch, and this is a beast of a device. Granted, it's not the same size, but you can get the 13-inch, which is still a beast of a device compared to this. It is a bit bigger than this because it's 13 inches, but how much more device and product are you getting for your money? Nothing else on the market exists from what I can see for an iPad that can give you the same functionality. The seamless smart connector integration basically recognizes everything, no need for wires. The hinge mechanism, as I've shown you, is absolutely great, and I can really see other manufacturers adopting this type of engineering into their products. Now, the pass-through charging is great, but it doesn't allow data transfer through the pass-through port, and you can only charge the battery to such how can I explain? The smart connector can only provide so much power to charge the battery, and you're going to have a much faster charging rate just connecting it to the main port on the iPad itself. So it doesn't provide any data transfer, it's just for passive charging and slower charging, then plugging in the USB-C cable to the iPad itself. So to me, it's a bit redundant. But now it's just like I can either charge it from this side a bit faster or from that side a bit slower. It's your money at the end of the day. If you have £300 to burn and £300 is nothing to you, £300 to £400 is someone's average weekly wage. So you've got to be slightly well off to buy something like this and be happy to justify it. There are cheaper alternatives like the Logitech, do similar things, just doesn't have a trackpad. There are third-party ones without the levitation, also incorporating a trackpad. So it just really depends. You've got a £300 hole to make in your pocket, go ahead and do it. It's nothing to you. It's a fine, nice product. It's all relative to your income, to your disposable income. And that's all I really have to say. It's a great product, but to me, it's overpriced, like most Apple products. I think the most amazing thing I've seen from Apple is probably the £400 iPhone SE that's coming out, which is basically an iPhone 8 rebrand with new internals. So that's it from me. I'm just the guy who doesn't really know that much about Apple, but I am a bit of a tech nerd, so that was my view, and that's it. So if you liked what you saw and you've got anything to say, talk to me in the comments below, give it a like, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.